What's up, guys? So today we're going to be going over some body rolls. So let's go ahead and get into our guarding stance, and then from here we're doing a strike. We're just doing a strike straight across, and then we're rolling in off our shoulders. So that way we can come back and forth just like that. So what we're doing is we're making contact with our shoulder, and it's just rolling around, and then we're changing the direction of the momentum back. And then same thing on this side. When we come back, we're just rolling it. It's making contact with our shoulder and wrapping around. And we're rolling it around our shoulder here to change the direction of the momentum back to the other side. All right, so really simple. We're gonna hold our nunchucks right out in front of us, and we're just gonna strike over to the side, roll it across our shoulders, back and forth. All right, and this is our shoulder to shoulder body roll. And we're just going to our shoulder to shoulder. Okay, you can keep this thing close to your body. You can make it bigger. If you're actually to strike someone, your nunchuck would be out here. But for right now, we're practicing. Just get used to how the nunchucks move. Mix it up, do one big, go tight, do a couple bigger. And just kind of get used to how the nunchucks move, how it feels. All right, so now let's go ahead and we'll switch. And we'll do our left hand, same thing, shoulder to shoulder. So we're just coming across shoulder, shoulder, back and forth. We're just rolling it around our shoulder. So we're not just hitting ourselves in the shoulder, we're making contact and it's rolling around. So we're making contact and it rolls around. So it makes contact about here and then it just kind of rolls. And then you change the direction of the momentum. You can strike out. You can keep it in tight. Practice doing both. But we're just doing our shoulder to shoulder. All right, guys. So next, we're going to go ahead and do our hip to hip. So I'm going to adjust my camera here, that way you can see this. And it's kind of the same thing as shoulder to shoulder. Only we're bringing it from our hip to our hip. And we're just going across. You get as close into your body, you can bring it out. Keep it in close. And we're just going hip to hip right now. There's a rolling in across our hip. So it's making contact right about here and then just rolling around. Same thing on the other side. And these are our body rolls. All right, so this is our hip to hip. All right, let's go ahead and let's do the other side. Go hip to hip. The other side. We can switch our stance if we want. All right, so now that we got our hip to hip and our shoulder to shoulder, we can kind of combine the two. So we can come up here, we're gonna go shoulder to shoulder, right? And now we're gonna go hip to hip. Now we're gonna shoulder to hip. Hip to hip, shoulder to hip. And you can kind of just combine them, shoulder to shoulder, hip to hip. All right, and these are our body rolls. And we're just gonna roll it across our body here, hip to hip, shoulder to shoulder, hip to shoulder, hip to shoulder this way, hip to shoulder this way. All right, we're just getting control, getting used to the nunchuck rolling across our body, and that's what we want to do. So we're just gonna kind of mix it up, do some hip to hip. Practice doing some shoulder to shoulder. Practice doing some shoulder to hip. Now let's practice doing our opposite hip to opposite shoulder. Going across here. And let's go ahead and we'll switch and do our other side now. All right, so we'll start out with shoulder to shoulder. Just doing our shoulder to shoulder. Getting comfortable with this. Getting used to how the nunchuck rolls on your body. And then we'll go ahead and switch to our hip. Now do our hip to hip. Now come back to shoulder to shoulder. Hip to hip. Shoulder to shoulder. Hip to hip. All right, now let's do our hip to shoulder. Just keep coming hip to shoulder. Just getting used to how the nunchuck rolls across our body. Getting used to how it feels. Hip to shoulder, hip to shoulder. Now let's go opposite hip to shoulder. Just get used to kind of how the nunchuck moves, how it rolls. You can mix it up. You can go hip to shoulder, shoulder, hip. All right. So those are our body rolls. It's kind of the basics, like kind of introduction to body rolls. So there's a lot more that we can do. But for right now, practice those ones. Those are going to be your basic ones. Practice those. Get them down. Make sure you know them. And now we're ready for our next video. If you like the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, subscribe. That way you can know when our next video is coming out. That way you don't miss any nunchuck videos. And also, I got a lot of cool stuff coming up, so just stay tuned for that. And we'll see you next time. Thank you guys for watching.